this year. So it's been a very hot market due to a lot of tradition going on and opportunities for data and analytics and the things like IoT to come in and really have a positive impact on the industry. So these are just some startups that Plug and Play has invested into, and we love our corporate network, but we also love working, and we have Taylor now kind of focusing on VC relations and our team to better help these startups scale and get venture funding. So these are some startups that Plug and Play has invested into over the last few years. One of them being Rappi, which raised $1 billion this year from SoftBank, which is doing last mile deliveries all across Latin America. They were founded in Bogota, Colombia. But some of the investors that came in were Sequoia, Andreessen Horowitz. We also invested early on with Saeed into Shippo, great founders from Harvard University, which Bessemer and some other leading firms came in. And through the supply chain program recently that have gotten a lot of traction are Shoof and Cognac. So Cognac we invested into along with Gradient Ventures, which is Google's AI fund. And then Shoof Technologies we invested into and own a good size investment of the company, and then introduced them to Kleiner Perkins, who invested about $4 million later on. So we're really excited to really engage these VCs and help these startups scale and not just meet corporations, but VCs and kind of mentors and accelerate their growth. So these are just a snapshot of kind of the companies that we've invested into now throughout the supply chain and logistics sector. And we're excited to do more. We're on track to do about 15 investments this year. And a number of the startups in the program have already gotten investment from us. And we are looking always to invest and kind of put our money where our mouth is and when it comes to working with the startups. So with that, I'd like to welcome up our keynote speaker, Sachin. He's a very good friend of ours at Plug and Play. He's been a partner for the last couple of years. Saeed always says he's the CTO of USPS, but he's leading innovation at the company, and it's been a great partnership to see the U.S. Postal Service figure out how to work with startups, as I know there's been some challenges along the road, but we've overcome it, and I think this has been a very great partnership so far.
Thanks, Mike. So we've been engaged with Plug and Play for a couple of years, and what's funny is even now Mike has a sense of surprise when he says even the USPS is looking at innovations. So he said we were running a little late, so hopefully my presentation is going to help us catch up. It's pretty quick. What I wanted to briefly share is how we think about external innovation specifically. What are the consumer preferences, how they're changing, and how that's translating into what we see is a slight change in the structure of the industry. Well, it's actually not slight, but the change in the structure of the industry. So I'm going to use the lens of last mile logistics. That's what we know. But then once we talk about changing structures, we'll get into perhaps a little more generic industry language. So if you think about consumers ordering packages online, think about your favorite e-commerce site and think about you receiving a package. Very often, you'll do the one-click shopping. You'll get the package as it, whenever it gets to you. However, there's also an option for you to pick, to have a lot more control over when the package is delivered. You could pay a couple of extra bucks, get it a little sooner, actually get paid a couple of extra bucks, into maybe your Audible account or something, get it a little later. You can get it delivered to your house. You can get it delivered to an alternate delivery location. These are all variables in a level of control that consumers are now starting to expect. It's no longer as simple as consumers who fit a certain profile will behave a certain way. Their preferences are based not just based on their profile, but on the profile of the package that you're getting. Right? So you don't want your wife's birthday present to arrive at your doorstep the day before her birthday, right? So what can you do to make sure it gets delivered to the local dry cleaners 2 days before? So all of those elements of control essentially make last mile delivery a really complex and a fairly messy space, because all of those options now need to be available to consumers. Control is enabled essentially by three drivers. And the first of those is speed. And speed, I think of speed as falling into two broad buckets. The first is getting it from point A to point B. Right? So how quickly can I get a package from where it resides today to where it needs to get to? There are a whole bunch of variables that determine that in itself. So where does point A need to be? Right? So we're seeing changes in urban warehousing. Where we used to have these massive consolidated warehouses, we're starting to see fragmentation. We're starting to see shipping from store. Right? So you place an order, you go to Zara.com, you place an order, and it's quite possible that the dress you're getting is actually getting shipped from the local Zara as opposed to some warehouse, some distribution center 200 miles away. And so that's one element of speed. The other element of speed is just being able to move it faster. Drones, autonomous vehicles. It's disambiguating the mode of transport from traditional points of efficiency. Right? So we're starting to see a whole bunch of changes in those factors as well. The other element of speed is how quickly you can respond to changes in consumer preferences. If I decide, for example, today that I've placed an order, but I did the one-click checkout, but I should have gotten it delivered somewhere else, not my default location. I want to go back. How quickly can I respond to that? And the biggest enabler for that is visibility, which is the second big enabler, right? So both the consumer and the shipper need to have visibility of where that package is at any point in time. Because without visibility, speed can lead to chaos, right? So everything's just moving faster. You just don't know where it is. And so that visibility is enabled by a whole data ecosystem around. We're seeing APIs. We'll actually see a few startups today who focus primarily on providing that visibility across the value chain. One of the platforms that the U.S. Postal Service has built over a few years, it's called Informed Visibility. You can essentially get up to a 4-minute delay. You can track essentially any package through a fairly complex system of nesting and tracking, et cetera. The Informed Visibility is available as a platform to anyone who ships or mails with the U.S. Postal Service. And the last of the three enablers is cost. Right? So 2-day shipping used to be table stakes. It was no longer a competitive advantage to offer free 2-day shipping. It was a competitive disadvantage to not offer that. The implications of that are that as a merchant, that the cost pressure to provide that service is very, very high. You cannot actually afford to have that becoming a massive line item, or a line item that outstrips the revenue stream that you are aiming to get from these new channels. And so the cost pressure on being able to provide shipping as a service is very, very high. Now, if that's further complicated by the fact that you have to have the speed, you have to have the visibility, you have to have that extra infrastructure to enable all of these new consumer preferences. And so these are the big changes that we're seeing, and I think it's pretty universal, in consumer preferences that are driving some of the big changes in industry structures. So where traditionally industries like retail were very simple reseller models where a retailer would buy low, sell, have a margin, and sell a little higher. That structure is no longer a viable structure. And that's where it's starting to move into more of an ecosystem, where every retailer or most industries are starting to become more of an ecosystem, where there are certain value-added services that retailers or companies are working with. They're looking at distribution service providers. The speed of change is so high that it's impossible, or next to impossible, for a single entity to provide all of these services, all of this by themselves efficiently and at scale. And so that's part of what's leading to the breaking up of this one monolithic structure into a bit more of an ecosystem. It's both the diversity of services that needs to be provided and the speed of change that companies need to keep up with. So that's part of the reason where traditionally we at the Postal Service have had innovation, product development, et cetera. We're now looking a lot more externally to provide some of the cutting edge services to at least inform us of what are the trends, what's coming, what's around the corner or further down the horizon in terms of what should we be looking at, what should we be getting ready to address. So again, coming back to some of the startups you're going to hear from today, a lot of them provide services in one of these 4 buckets. And they, as complements to existing incumbents in the larger players in existing industries, be it logistics or retail, et cetera, are really looking to enhance the value that their customers or the final consumer is able to extract from their relationship. Now, as an incumbent, as somebody who's been in the space, in the US, we've got a significant footprint. What are the strategic options we have when we think of our role in an ecosystem? So there are companies who do decide to play solo, but for that you need to have either a sustainable competitive advantage or really, really deep pockets. And there's not a lot of companies that kind of fit that mold. And just based on everything else I've said so far, you probably can imagine, I don't think that's a viable strategy. The one company that I can think of that comes close to that is probably Tesla, and just because they're able to do a lot of it internally. The second is participating in an ecosystem. Now, the one thing I should clear is that I don't think they're mutually exclusive. So for example, we participate in this ecosystem, right? And because innovation is not our core purpose, but innovation is an enabler for our business. So we participate in this ecosystem. But I'm focused more on, as a core function, do you participate in an ecosystem? So if you think about a Toys R Us, them participating on an Amazon ecosystem, was one example where that may not have worked the best for them, but there's probably viable options for that. I think that from my point of view, if you're an incumbent, the two most viable opportunities are participating in an open ecosystem, building an open ecosystem or building a proprietary ecosystem. And to give you an example, the biggest proprietary ecosystem is probably Amazon at this point, or one of the big ones is probably Amazon, where I would think of us as a big open ecosystem where anyone who has shipping needs, anyone who has mailing needs, can essentially partner with us or work with us to develop services around that. The sell option essentially is, if you're a Whole Foods, you decide, look, it's probably best to extract value for your shareholders at this point in time and to exit the industry. So also, I think there's perhaps a bit of a continuum over here, where if you think about Amazon's logistics business, that was closed, that was probably a proprietary ecosystem that is available only to those who are participating as a seller on the Amazon platform. But once they start hiving it off as an open platform, it becomes available as an ecosystem. So that's kind of all I have. This is where we see some of these industry structures going, where we see some of these changes. We're tracking this, we're participating in this, and we're looking forward to hearing more from some of the startups and the other corporates over here.
Thanks so much. And Sachin will be around for any of your burning questions throughout the day. Okay, so before we get started on our startup pitches, a few housekeeping items. So on your badge or in your booklet, you should see a QR code. You can use your phone and get in onto the website and vote for your top favorite startup. We always like to do this at the end of our pitches. Pick a startup for People's Choice Award. It's always fun, and we get to see what you guys like. And then as well, Brella. You can go onto Brella, set up meetings with all of our startups, take advantage of all the startups that are here today. We have startups across the different verticals and different corporate partners. So we encourage you to set up as many meetings as possible. Okay, so our first startup or entrepreneur has lived in 6 different cities. And we love that because we like to bring on our global entrepreneurs. I'd like to introduce Yildiray from Boxologic.
I don't need it. Oh, yes, please. Can I have the clicker? Good morning, everybody. Somehow, I couldn't resist bringing my Amazon box, and I'm so excited to see what I got here. Void filler, some more, and a lot of air, courtesy of Amazon. And here it is. I paid for this little guy, sorry, but also for air. Remember, air is free until you ship it. But hey, we are all in this together. Each year, it is 17 billion boxes out there like this. We have a robotic solution which creates the right size box within seconds, and no one pays a single cent for air. We build boxes like this, a perfect fit, and not like this. Let me use this clicker. So I am Sagar, founder and CEO of Boxologic. We are a Boston-based startup focusing on robotic order fulfillment solutions. We all know that this problem affects each of us, but this isn't just a personal problem. This is a massive industry problem that increases the cost of e-commerce and creates unnecessary environmental waste. Let's go deeper. $2.3 trillion spent online every year and growing. When we order online, 80% of our orders ends up in cardboard boxes. And the shippers like UPS and FedEx charge us based on box volume rather than weight. And this is where the rubber meets the road. The average shipped e-commerce box contains 40% empty space, and we are talking about billions of boxes here. And if you have 40% void space, we are increasing your cardboard use 15%, void filler 60%, and most importantly, your transportation costs up to 20%. That's a lot of increase for air. So why is it like this? We don't see them, but those folks are filling our boxes day and night in a very tight space. They have around 10 to 15 stock boxes in front of them. They take the relevant size from the shelf, form it, bottom seal it, fill the item in, top seal it, label it, put it back to the conveyor line, all manually. So the industry recognized that this is a problem, and they have come up with solutions like Box on Demand. Box on Demand is a type of machine designed to create the right size box within seconds out of stock material. So, but the solutions out there today aren't good enough. So this is the competition landscape. The yellow box on your right-hand side is our solution, Boxologic. And the rest is the competition. They're highly inefficient machines. They create a lot of cardboard waste. They are huge machines. Some of them are over 500 square feet. You can live in it if you like to. And very expensive machines too, $700,000 to $1 million each. But we are excited to change this. With our patent-pending solution, we have literally transformed the way boxes are built. Our boxes meet all critical industry standards, and we are using only one size of cardboard to create any size of box. First of all, it's the smallest machine in the market. The size for those machines are around 200 square feet. Our machine is just 50 square feet. There is no human intervention. And here, we are using only one size of cardboard to create any size of box and still have the lowest waste rate, which is 1/7 of the industry average. Besides eliminating the empty space, we have the highest throughput per square feet. We have the lowest carbon footprint, and it's the only clusterable machine in the market. I wish I could show you the video, but our lawyer said no, and he's very good at it. Who's our customer? Any e-commerce company or manufacturing company who requires random size boxes and processes at least 30,000 boxes per month, which is almost everyone. Why they are buying from us? Because we are saving them $1 per shipment if their average shipment cost is $5. If it is more, we save more. And our machine's ROI is less than 16 months. So the business model is either we are selling the machine and becoming their cardboard supplier with low margin, or we are leasing the machine free of charge, becoming their cardboard supplier with a higher margin, or we are leasing the machine free of charge, counting how many boxes are produced and following paper box model. So far, we did a good job and reached almost 70% of the e-commerce suppliers, and that's the stage we are in right now. The listed companies are expecting a test-ready machine, and believe us, the under NDA companies are the largest companies in the field. We built already 3 kinematic prototypes and now working on the industry-level machine in our facility. So curious about the troublemakers. My first 10 years was all about designing and managing large corporate structures and processes, especially focused on supply chain systems, including for Ford Motor Company in China. My last 10 years is about mechatronics, developing machinery to increase the logistics operations efficiency. We have 2 jet engine designers and 1 robotics engineer from Harvard and growing. We also received some awards from MIT, Future Unicorn Award. We are a part of Stanley Accelerator, Ingram Micro Global Finalist, and finally, Plug and Play, Accenture, of course. So at this stage, we are looking for partners and investors to change the order fulfillment landscape in epic scale. And for more information about Boxologic and the opportunity, please come and visit us upstairs. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was super interesting. Okay, next up we have Atle from Wilmy, who is on a mission to change indoor mobility forever.
Thank you. My name is Atle Timnes. I'm from Norway, Oslo. We're based in Oslo. I am the CEO and the co-founder of Wilmy, an IoT robotics company. As you can see, our vision is to forever changing indoor mobility. To fulfill that, we have developed the world's first and only autonomous wheel. So, is it possible to reinvent man's most important wheel? And as you probably understand, the answer is yes. So imagine you can make anything and turn it into a robotic, autonomous robots, and without the need to change the design or the form factor. And you can provide tracking with autonomous delivery to optimize your workflow, control assets, and optimize resources to a magnitude lower price than competing solutions out there. This is the solution. This is the world's first autonomous wheel. It fits into any pallet, or you can attach it to anything you want to move. Everything is embedded in there. You have fusion sensors, you have stereo cam, you can use it as a LiDAR, you can use it with inductive charging. And imagine you can use this for healthcare sector, you can move beds, or you can move equipment. Or how about use it with cleaning robots to reduce your OpEx for cleaning? Just move the things away from the cleaning robot. Or using swarm technology to change room structure. Could be very nice to have that here today, I think. Or move full-size walls. Or the most important today, use it for factory floors, logistics, supply chain, or warehousing. You can only use your voice to move the things because we have already incorporated with Alexa. Or you can use a pad, you can use your mobile phone, whatever you want. We're a full stack company, meaning that we do everything from hardware and also the AI and the ML in the cloud. So what do we want to achieve? We want to be the preferred platform for indoor material handling and indoor mobility by 2022. We sell it as a service, and we're already working with 10 Fortune 500 companies in Germany, US, and Japan. So remember, nothing happens until it moves. Thank you.
Thanks, Atle. We'll save questions for the end, unless you have another.
If someone think this is interesting, just see me in the game room. I'm just under the big clock there. Okay, thank you.
Thanks so much. Awesome. So next up, we have Sean from Strong Arm Tech. He is a Forbes 30 Under 30 honoree, and he's speaking at the Under 30 Summit this weekend, so we're really excited to have him here today. Welcome, Sean.
Thank you. That was really cool. I will be in the game room. Hello, everyone. I'm Sean Peterson. I'm the CEO of Strong Arm Tech, and we are a safety science company, and our goal is to maintain the integrity of the industrial workforce. How did we get into this? Basically, I grew up working construction, thought that's what I was going to do, and then my dad died on the roof of a job. I went off and became an entrepreneur, and I've spent the last 7 years trying to solve this problem. Our goal is to protect every industrial athlete. That means the people who pave our roads, the people who deliver our packages, the people who are building the buildings that we stand in. These injuries happen way too fast, and we want to be able to get ahead of them. The fact that $250 billion a year is spent in this country alone on these injuries, for us, it's astounding, and it's a bit of a shame, and it's incredibly frustrating. We know that we need to be quicker than these injuries, and we know that we need to sense them. So we use wearable data from these sensors that we create. And that's a lot to ask from our clients, to equip a sensor on every single one of their employees. But what we found is that there's a constant challenge in every organization that we enter to find the balance of safety, find the balance of productivity, and asset performance based on what is capable inside of the confinements of a safe environment for these employees. And that's what we do at StrongArm. We have this small sensor that's worn on the chest of the industrial athlete throughout the day of his shift. While he's picking packages, while he's building a roof, we're measuring everything at a rate of 25 different sensors at a rate of 12.5 times a second. We start first with ergonomic issues, training, understanding their movements, providing haptic feedback to eliminate the chance of a harmful movement. Then we move into long-term exposures, heat, humidity, air quality, other factors that just really have been not incredibly tailored for each individual's exposure rates. And then we understand and track how they're moving throughout the environments, how we can make the safer environments and avoid collisions. The data is deployed very, very simply. We're able to pull these sensors in through an automated smart desk platform. You can see a tablet on the right. It enables us to have a little bit of engagement in the morning with that industrial athlete. So they start their day with a 30-second micro-blast or a micro-learning event where we could say, hey, Jim, your score was a 70 yesterday, but it could be a 75 if you just focus on these few core factors. That sensor's then programmed for him, and we're tracking him, and he's off to the races. He then syncs that sensor at the end of the day, where the data is wiped, the device is charged within 30 seconds, and ready for the next person. From there, the information gets really interesting for us. So our data platform enables us to tell a narrative of why it's important to focus on that industrial athlete to every single person in the value chain. So we drive insights directly through just the sensor on the body. Then we drive actionable data to managers. Managers save a lot of time. They're not walking around looking for data that's typically skewed by a Hawthorne effect. We're giving real information on how they can protect the top 5 lowest performing assets in the group. And then we drive operational efficacy by applying a platform that allows them to drive A/B testing and truly create a habitually innovative environment driven by safety culture and metrics. We also partner with insurance organizations because we're providing alternative data. We're providing a huge deal of reduction in loss of assets over in risk engineering. And we're doing this all in a time series database that allows us to interact and go under actuarial scrutiny. And the numbers make sense for us. We're showing a 40% reduction in injury year over year across our clients. We serve everyone in logistics, 3PL. We're branching into construction, light manufacturing. And our goal, again, is to keep every industrial athlete proud, protected, and productive. This is our team. We're primarily driven by data, but we're all folks who have a true yearning to keep every one of these industrial athletes safe. And we drive that through understanding what our clients need. And we do that every single day so that we can hopefully just bring more attention to the importance of protecting and maintaining the integrity of the industrial American workforce. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Sean. Pass it right along. Up next, we have Sanjay from Revo. Welcome.
Good morning. My name is Sanjay Dodani. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Revo Technologies. Revo is an AI data software platform that enables tires to be smarter. We do this in order to improve vehicle uptime, performance, and safety. We focus on the tire because the tire is one of the most ubiquitous components in every mode of transportation around the world. 2.5 billion tires were used last year alone, accounting for almost $250 billion spent on tires globally. At any given time, 1 in 4 vehicles on the roads today needs their tires replaced because they're poorly maintained or they're bald. So when we asked ourselves, well, who experiences the pain the most when it comes to a poorly maintained or bald tire that has a high probability for damage on the road? Well, it turns out it's the people whose businesses are reliant on having vehicles on the road to deliver their goods and services. Those people generally operate large fleets. And so when we spoke to fleet operators, we learned a couple things. We learned that tires are their #1 operational expenditure after fuel, and is quickly becoming their top spend category as electrification becomes more prevalent. We also learned that their technicians spend a disproportionate amount of time on routine preventative maintenance, something that we think can be automated and their time better served elsewhere. The most glaring issue we found was that there's a significant lack of data when it comes to one of their top spend categories, not allowing operators to make informed, intelligent decisions about their tires. The way we handle this is by looking at the tire and everything about the tire, from what's going on inside the tire to everything about and touching that tire, including what's that driving behavior look like from measured within the tire? What's the road surface that that tire is driving on? And we do all of this in order to predict how much life is actually left on that tire and answer the questions that always get asked. Well, why do I need to replace it now? And what can I do to make this thing last longer? We do this by delivering actionable insights to our operators and a web-based interface and APIs where they can see in real time every single tire that's in their fleet, the current status, the condition, and any issues that may be coming up from the road, getting real-time alerts. We pass lots of different data sources from and about the tire through our data platform to enable this, including onboard vehicle data, sensors that go inside the tire that capture raw data, and even manually entered information from technicians in order to get a better understanding about that tire. To date, we've had multiple deployments. We do this in order to reduce vehicle downtime, reduce the total cost of ownership, and increase the safety by minimizing the liability that can come from a tire blowout on the road causing damage. To date, we've had multiple deployments across different segments of fleets. One interesting one for us is in autonomous vehicles. We've been working with one of the largest autonomous vehicle companies in the world, where they've deployed our platform on their data collecting vehicles. Not only have they seen an increase in the vehicle uptime on the roads, but we've also been able to extend the tire life on each of those vehicles by over 30% to date. We've also been incorporated into their autonomous systems, providing those systems real-time feedback and condition reports from the tire so that those autonomous vehicles can be improved in terms of their performance on the road. We've assembled a team of experts in data science, data management, data architecture, tire dynamics, fleet operations, sensor design, and embedded software. My co-founder, Andrew, and I have been working together for over 8 years, and we were responsible for deploying machine learning products at scale for customers like Apple, Mercedes, Toyota, and BMW. We've been on quite a roll since our founding. We've had tire partnerships in the Tier 1 and Tier 2 categories across the world. We've participated in the world's largest mobility accelerator out of Detroit, run by Techstars. Recently this year, we won the Best Mobility Service Award at the North American International Auto Show. And we've been deploying into our early customers this second half of this year and going into next year. So if you have a tire program or your operation uses tires, we'd be happy to work with you to ease the pain and manage that category better. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Sanjay. Okay, up next is our first female presenter, but not our last. Before being an MIT research fellow, she worked at NASA. So welcome, Layla.
Guys, all right. So if you think about how deliveries are done today, consumers have rising expectations. And in fact, this has been a highly evolved process over the last handful of years, as you may have heard 1,000 times at this point, right? So imagine you're a beverage distributor. You have 20,000 trucks, or I mean, maybe 1,000 is more likely, but surely maybe 20,000, and 10 times that in terms of the amount of deliveries that you have to fulfill in a given day. So what does this mean? This means that the way that you do things is probably the following. Maybe you have a list of deliveries, and you put the list of deliveries into some massive roster, split them up, assign them to a driver. Tomorrow you assign them to a driver. Let's call him Russ. So you call the gas company today as a consumer, and they say, sure, somebody will show up tomorrow between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. But that's not going to cut it. Amazon has literally weaponized delivery. If you have trucks, that stung a little bit, didn't it? Lots of customers are following suit, and consumers have expectations that align. You call a Lyft, within a minute you have an ETA, you have a vehicle, you know exactly where you're going. Back at headquarters, Russ's schedule is still being made. So that's what we solve and have been solving and solve very well at Wise. We call this autonomous dispatch. Ultimately, it's the seamless coordination of goods, services, people, you name it. If it moves, we do it well. And what this means is if you are a business services provider or a beverage distributor, your business relies on good schedules, and schedules that not only rely on being responsive to real-time happenings, be them traffic or weather or canceled orders, but ideally a schedule that's also using yesterday's data to power today's routes. At Wise, we use the data you make to power the routes that we create, ensuring that you're competitive in this very challenging world. And we call this our dynamic learning engine. Within the dynamic learning engine, there's a variety/suite of products, the first being a scheduler. Do you want to optimize your routes? Do you want to reduce your miles? Do you want to see what you want to do because you don't know? That's fine. We could do all of it. You can compare. And over time, as we collect your data, we're able to build very responsive schedules based on historical service times. Does it make sense to go to the 7-Eleven on Main Street at New York City at 11 a.m. or 3 p.m.? Turns out 11 a.m. is the answer. We can respond to your customers' service times. Say there's a traffic jam. We'll get your drivers around that, while also being responsive to the time windows that your customers have provided. Likewise, we give you analytics, because like, duh, who doesn't? Big deal, I hope. And this is like gonna actually probably the most important part of this. Within just like the industry of drivers, there's a lot of turnover because the job is tough and often unappreciated. There's tons of tribal knowledge involved. It's your first day on a job, you're given a list of stops, a truck full of stuff, and you're expected to figure it out. Where do you park? Oh, you're gonna get a ticket? Cool. You're gonna get towed at that area? Didn't even know it. Can't go under that bridge? Great, now I have a broken truck. So there's all sorts of things, not even including the human factors, like the fact that Shelly at Buffalo Wild Wings doesn't want you there at noon because there's lunch hour. All these factors go into the really, really expansive driver knowledge base that we refer to as tribal knowledge. So when you're 5 years into the job, you're smooth sailing. Year one, good luck. And so we provide a really easy and responsive mobile interface that uses historical drivers' data, real-time data to provide drivers with routes and all sorts of bells and whistles, pending your business, with truck routing. And end-of-day scorecards to help a driver understand their own metrics. We can also provide your customers with real-time links to drivers' whereabouts and notifications based on whether or not your driver is going to face delays. And if you have field salespeople or other people in the field who rely on your drivers. A good example may be merchandisers who need to know when your drivers are dropping loads, or salespeople who need to respond to your customers. We have our tool that has all sorts of shapes. Wise updates to help your staff navigate your driver's whereabouts. And we're different because of AI, which is, I think, why we're all here. Machine learning, so really that's a fancy way to say we use your historical data today. Real-time data, traffic, weather, cancellations, and finally user experience. My background is in design. We are a series of co-founders. You'll see a real cute picture coming up, but my background's in design. We take design very seriously, and I left architecture to make good tools for trucks and haven't regretted it for a day. And it adds up. So when you need an ROI argument, we usually have it for you. Within a year, for 100 drivers, we could save you $300,000 with a 20% increase in fleet utilization, and these great numbers you see here, within a reduction in mileage and late deliveries. So we work in industries like oil and gas, business services, auto parts, parcel carrier, people carriers. And we're in every wholly owned Anheuser-Busch truck across the nation. Tier 2, so people who deliver to stores. This is my co-founders and I back at MIT when we were young. And come find me upstairs. I'm the only person who looks like this, so it should be easy to find me. And I'm really excited to chat with you all. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Leila. Okay, up next we have one of our own portfolio companies, Saudi Autonomy. So Rahul, come on up and welcome.
Hi, I'm Rahul Chulakati. I'm the CEO of Saudi Autonomy, and we make a magic wand for robot arms. And this lets businesses automate as fast as their products change. So I think we're all used to seeing really cool videos like this, robots doing awesome things. I don't see any people here. And all the benefits are pretty well understood, cost effectiveness, efficiency, workforce benefits. But why do we still have people doing stuff like this in factories and warehouses? Especially when it's becoming very difficult to find people that are willing to do this kind of work. It's repetitive, boring. Well, it turns out that these tasks change too often to use the type of automation we just saw on the last slide. In fact, 90% of tasks that could be automated are being done manually today. And this is really being driven by the fact that it's too expensive to scale robotic automation when you have shorter runs. And this is not being driven by the hardware. It's actually being driven by non-recurring engineering costs. So you have experts that are engineering the system and programming the system. So what we're going to do at Saudi is change this cost model. We're going to eliminate the need for programming. We're going to reduce how much engineering has to go into every cell. And this will let you as a business be able to reuse your hardware for lots of different things. You can get a per task ROI using the same people that you have on your floor. What this all translates to is a $130 billion market around automating short-run material handling tasks. And we're going to focus on verticals that have a large amount of pain around staffing, but then also the tasks change daily. So good examples are consumer packaged goods, seasonal packs, promotional packs, they change all the time. Custom logistics in, say, automotive or tier 1 suppliers. There's lots of short-run factory tasks going on. And then healthcare kits. You're making DNA kits or surgical kits. So some of our highlighted customers are, again, a Fortune 500 CPG company. We're helping them put together promotional packs. A tier 1 auto supplier, where we're doing lots of short-run factory tasks like depalletization or moving parts from their supply chain into their production line. We're also working with a medical device manufacturer that's doing lots of inspection. So what we've created here is a new software layer. And the software sits on top of existing robot hardware and software, but that interfaces directly with your end user. And the end user may be an initiated robotics person. They might just be a line worker or a line supervisor. And what that person's going to do is use AR, gestures, and voice to explain to our system what the task is, what needs to get done. And then our software translates that into actual robot code that the robot can operate on. So let's see this in action. Our subject here is Lisa. So 10 minutes before this video was taken, Lisa had never even seen a robot before, been next to one, never programmed one. And within 2 minutes, she's going to get this robot to do a kitting task, where she's taking multiple SKUs like shampoo bottles, soap boxes, and putting into a new box. So She's going to take this wand, she's going to point at a menu that's projected onto the space, no goggles, no tablet, no nothing, and tell the system where the objects are that she wants to pick up and where that she wants to place them. To give you a counterpoint, our co-founder, Jay, he is a robot expert, and it took him over 2 hours using the software that comes with this robot to do this task, or to program the task. Whereas Lisa, using our software, does it in 2 minutes, and she doesn't know anything about robots. Our team is made up of experts, both on the business side and the technical side of robotics. We've been working at this for a long time. We live and breathe robots, and we understand we've lived the pain that we're solving. We've been getting some industry recognition around industrial automation, and we think this is a function of the fact that we're solving the right problem at the right time. We're looking for pilot partners, as well as we're raising a seed round at the moment, so we'd love to talk to you. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Rahul. Okay, up next, we have the CRO of Slink, who just flew in from Atlanta, trying to figure out which time zone he's in right now. So welcome, Tom.
Thank you very much. Saeed and team, thanks so much for another great event. So my name is Tom Robleski. I am the CRO of Slink. Slink is a supply chain SaaS company focused on supply chain and logistics orchestration. We put together a very diverse team here, as you see up on the slide there. Some great technicians that have come over from the Salesforce side to really help us with the architecture. A lot of great operators, so we really understand the movement business of packages. And also a lot of folks that have worked in the supply chain software space previously. As we heard a little bit earlier from Sachin from the US Postal Service, what a market that we are in shipments today. And if you see some of the studies that are out there today, 10%, some of our customers are saying it's actually 1 in 6. Shipments are delayed, damaged, or lost. That's not going to change. And really, we're very proud in the supply chain space of the firefighting teams that we have built to address this issue. And spending sometimes 50% of our time, if not more, trying to address this massive number. The situation is getting more and more complex. This very demanding now consumer is really causing our supply chains to get more and more complex. A lot of disconnected supply chain data and a lot of disconnected people. If you think about all the different players, from the manufacturers to the 3PLs to the forwarders to yourselves managing these shipments, trying to figure out where things are and how they got to the exception that they're in is the white space that we're looking at. And that really comes down to 2 key pieces from the orchestration perspective, is getting visibility of the information across all these different areas, and then really managing the communication of it. And I'll make hopefully a provocative statement, is visibility is table stakes now. It's a commodity. There's a lot of companies that are out there providing a lot of information, but what are you doing with that information is the key. This is a quick architecture view to give you an idea of the differentiators, if you will, from a Slink perspective. If you look at the bottom, we're a systems of systems. We're not replacing anything. We're going to bring in, from an API first mentality, all of your ERP data, OMS, WMS, TMS, the visibility tools that are out there today. If you think about IoT, GPS, RFID is coming back as well, as bringing that all in. And probably most importantly and differentiating is ingesting emails. We're still using emails today, and there's a lot of information that are in those emails that we have to collect and normalize. So we'll actually ingest that, bring all that information together, and the one piece I'll probably point out is the automation side of workflows. What do you do when you have an exception? The tool actually will build automated workflows, if-then statements, so that you can figure out exactly how to address those. Some of the use cases, again, just to give you an idea, we're focused very much on the deliver side. Exception management, visibility. We can provide visibility, we can ingest and connect with the visibility tools out there today. Transportation processes, SLAs, managing all that communications piece will be very, very important as you move forward. From a user perspective, wanted to show you the picture again. If you think about Salesforce, is really making the user interface very customizable and comfortable to you, and from an activity feed, providing a lot of communication and collaboration. What makes us unique? We want to turn visibility into action. We want to really make sure that the user interface is very easy and functional for your teams, and really have a very flexible architecture to handle the complexities of your supply chain. Thanks so much. Hope to see you up at our demo table.
Thanks so much, Tom. Okay, up next we have Itamar from Viho. He speaks 6 languages, so just in case you want to feel bad about yourself, here we go.
Morning, everybody. My name is Itamar, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Viho. Does anybody know what this is? This is what a typical week in the parcel delivery industry used to look like before the days of e-commerce. So you'd have pretty consistent demand across the board. You had 5 days a week, and it made perfect sense to use a person in the vehicle, a professional driver in the truck, to come in every day and deliver those packages because that person ran at almost 100% utilization. Now, that was before e-commerce came along, and with e-commerce, the picture is very different. Now you have to deliver 7 days a week, and the volume fluctuates all the time. And the reason is that people buy on the weekend online, and they expect to receive their stuff on Mondays and Tuesdays. So if you still have a guy in a truck, how's that going to play out? Well, that truck is sometimes going to leave things behind, but there's not enough capacity there. Sometimes it's going to run half empty. And what do you do with the weekend where you need somebody else to drive the truck when that driver wants to spend time with the family? So this is a huge problem for delivery companies today. And it's even worse when you look at it from an annual standpoint with these huge volume hikes during the holiday season. Again, what do you do if you have a fixed fleet of trucks and you can't scale up and down your capacity? Well, if you're UPS, you just go and hire 100,000 people, temporary employees for the holiday season, and FedEx is not far behind. It's not sustainable. Amazon has a different solution for this. And in 2015, Amazon launched Amazon Flex, which basically is an app that allows anybody to deliver packages for Amazon in their own car. And you may think that Flex is small, but it's huge. It's everywhere. It's in all 50 states. It's in Europe. It's in Singapore. And it's so effective not only because using a crowdsourced driver in their own car is significantly cheaper than using a professional driver in a truck, but also because Amazon, with its crowdsourced platform, can perfectly match supply and demand. They have more drivers on bigger days, fewer drivers on lower days, whereas UPS, FedEx, and everybody else has a fixed fleet of trucks that you can't do anything about. And the point is that Flex gives Amazon a huge competitive advantage over every other retailer. It allowed them to launch next-day delivery for very cheap. And what is every other retailer going to do about it? This is where Viho steps in. Viho is the Amazon Flex for everybody else. This is a delivery service that uses crowdsourced drivers to deliver packages for e-commerce companies. This is how it works. E-commerce companies ship their products on a truck to a Viho sorting facility in the city. Viho sorts those packages into dense final mile routes. And then we use crowdsourced drivers to deliver those packages to people's homes. And this may look like a nice model. It is actually happening as we speak every single day. This is one of our markets with physical operation on the ground and drivers showing up every day. And you already know that there's a need for this in the market. Now you already know, you also know that we've been growing really fast. Since March, we've been growing over 50% month over month. And what makes all of it possible is the fact that in the past, e-commerce companies used to ship from one location in the middle of the country. Next-day delivery was merely impossible. Nowadays, there's this proliferation of fulfillment centers all across the country, driven by investments from everybody pretty much, who wants to compete with Amazon on the fulfillment space. So Viho essentially can pick up and deliver next day everywhere in the country. Our clients love Viho. We deliver fast, same day or next day. We save them a ton of money on the delivery because it's much cheaper to run deliveries this way. And we provide an awesome customer experience. And we ask every customer, how great was your delivery between 1 and 5 stars? We average 5 stars across the board every single time almost. And some people say this is the best delivery service I've ever had in my life. But most importantly, we help retailers solve their biggest problem. And now they have a solution to Amazon Flex next day delivery. It's called Viho. My name is Itamar Zur. I'm co-founder and CEO of Viho. I used to run the control tower for the Israeli Air Force. I was one of the first employees at Israel's most valued startup today, Monday. Went to Harvard Business School. My co-founder, Fred, is a serial entrepreneur in logistics and technology. And we have some of the top names in this industry, like Tom Schmidt, former CEO of FedEx Supply Chain, who are investing and advising Viho. We're raising our seed round. I'm going to be around here. Please come and talk to me. Thanks very much.
Thanks so much, Tamar. Okay, up next, moving right along, we have Jonathan from Liftians. Welcome up, Jonathan.
Hi, my name is Jonathan Huang from Liftians. My company is delivering the automated solution for warehouse operations. So in typical warehouse today, it's really chaotic and then operational in terms of picking products, which is one of the most labor-intensive and least automated in e-commerce operations. So what it translates into picking a product will be really costly today. So why is that? Because more than 50% of time, people walk to take products. And then the actual retrieval of the product is only 10%. So what if we make the robots do all the rest, and then human would do the picking part of it, which really means, in theory, it is 10 times of the efficiency. That's what we are doing. So our solution is just goods to person delivery, meaning that people just don't do walking and all other tasks other than retrieving the products from whatever the warehouse, whatever we set up the workstation. So this is the typical process. There are three things here. One is more efficient and more accurate, and it's automated. I'm not saying they're fully automated. I'm saying it is 90% automated. So this is our video in our beta customer in Rose City, and it's been operating for about a year. So as you can see that she just stays at the same place, and the robot delivers the goods to her, and then she knows what to do just based on what she sees from there and scan it, and then drop it into the order totes. So there are about 1 million warehouse workers today, and 50% of them doing today, 500,000 people picking the products, because it is the most, is more than 50% of the warehouse operation, warehouse resources, spent on picking. And our team is split into two parts. One is Silicon Valley, another one is in China, in Shenzhen. So, and also we have another sales rep in Japan. Today, our company's been here for about 3 years, a little bit more than 3 years, and then we have 2 POCs and 1 beta customer, 1 paid customer in China, another customer in Australia. So this is what we are doing today. And then this is 70,000 square foot warehouse in Australia, and it's going to be production within a month from today. So our business model is just like hardware from China and business and then all the technology in Silicon Valley. And this is our customer testimonial. So in Rose City, so you see the 400% increase in efficiency, and then 25% in revenue, and et cetera. So one robot is really equivalent to 1.5 human labor. And guess what? They don't complain about it. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you, and give me a call, and go to our website, liftians.com. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Jonathan. Okay, up next, we have another portfolio company of ours out of Germany. Welcome, Kai from DuckTrain.
Could you please remind the last user experience you gained if you received a parcel, maybe yesterday? There's a slight chance that it wasn't like positive, like in the picture on the left side, and more with a postman in hurry, like on the right side. The logistic environment and the logistic business, as all of you know, have dramatically changed in the last 15 to 20 years. There's a statistic from Germany, and this can be transferred to every developed country in the world, of the expected growth in the last mile parcel logistics within the next years. And this is, let's say, supported by the global decrease of people living in dense city areas. Whilst the e-commerce and the logistics in general, the requirements on logistics have changed dramatically within the last 20 years, our vehicles, the mode, the whole process of last mile delivery did not change within, I bet, the last 50, 60, or 70 years. And so today we are using transporters, like shown on the left side, everywhere on our worldwide to do the last mile logistics. Within the last years, projects, companies, all big players worldwide have begun to think about how to do urban delivery in a more efficient, in a more 2020 way. And the result is, these are a few examples from Germany, for example, using electric bicycles, cargo bicycles, or from the US and tested in Germany as well, robots like the Starship robot. But these solutions do not really change the problem, as they are not really efficient in the end of the day. Elements like micro depots, bringing material into the cities and doing distribution from there, container swapping with logistic bicycles and robotics are tested, but they do not really solve the core problem. And when we thought about how to solve the core problem, we came to a vehicle system which we call duck train. Duck train is a platoon of vehicles containing of small, lightweight vehicles the size of a bicycle, which can be coupled to whole trains, which we call duck train. They have a footprint of, as you can see on the picture, a Euro pallet plus a few percent for the powertrain. They have a small sensor and software stack, and they solve the dilemma of transporting big volume from the last depot, from the last hub into the city, using the whole platoon, using the duck train, and then using only a single vehicle, a duck, to do the final delivery going from door to door. Yeah, so we have both. We have a seamless process from the hub until our customer, to the door of the customer. The system can couple every leading object, like a bicycle, like a tricycle, a lightweight vehicle, or even a pedestrian, just a walker, with the whole platoon. Has ADAS system, driver system, can be used indoor and outdoor. So this is not only a solution for urban logistic, but also for industrial logistic. And of course, it's much safer because every of that ducks has its own sensor system. It can be stopped, for example, if a kid goes on the road and might be hurt. This is the current prototype state. It's the vehicle generation 1, which will be tested this autumn in Germany. Our roadmap shows that we also already received a small pre-seed funding from Plug and Play and a other German Netherlands VC. We already got €800K of public funding from the European Commission and the German government, and we are currently planning for several POCs, real public tests on public road with several customers. A few of them are disclosed, but they are from the bigs, from the businesses. Yeah, we are talking with everyone worldwide. So in a nutshell, we have a unique product. We do differentiate from the competitors, as we are not the next autonomous driving startup. We do have an interim solution for the legal problem of autonomous driving not being allowed on most of the roads worldwide. We have a unique team. I have a PhD from Aachen University. My CTO, Marcos, has 20 years of experience in automotive industry, and the time is now. So I would like to invite you to talk with us about POCs, to talk about investment into the duck train. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Kai. Up next, we're back to California. I'd like to welcome Neil from Akua up to the stage. Thanks so much.
Good morning. My name is Neil Furukawa. I am the founder and CEO of Akua. Our mission statement is to provide actionable intelligence to the global supply chain, focused primarily on containerized cargo and bulk shipments. So what Akua is not is we're not a traditional asset tracking telematics company. We don't sell hardware. We sell our product through a SaaS license. So our customers buy the data. In that, we provide the rest of the pieces to provide them with the first mile to last mile visibility. So our sensors actually travel with the shipment. So it typically gets put on at the point of origin, or it could be like a smart pallet, but the sensors are in the actual shipment. It's not in the transport. What we do is we developed a master mobile gateway that's designed as protocol agnostic that collects all the sensor data in the shipment and provides that data in real time back to a cloud platform. We do this on a transport independent basis, meaning that we don't work with any of the ocean carriers or the trucking companies because we're doing this at the shipment level. So it gives a lot of flexibility to our customers in that they don't have to end up working with a particular transport carrier to get the data. So talking to our customers, and we're really selling to the beneficial cargo owners right now, we asked them, we did a lot of persona interviews to find out what really matters to them. And the three things that came out over and over again was people really want to know on an international global containerized shipment, they want to know where their shipment is at any given time. Right now, there's a lot of estimated arrival times given by transport companies, but no one can really provide exactly the location of that shipment at any given time. People want to know what the accurate ETA of that shipment is, especially for projectized shipments when it's very important to have shipments arrive at a given time for planning. And the third item is cargo integrity. A lot of times the shipments arrive damaged or lost or missing. People want to really know when things are getting compromised, for example. So no other company that we're aware of can provide all of those three answers in a real-time basis in a single SaaS platform. Looking at across our customers, everyone is really focused on supply chain risk management. Primarily, we started working early on with the U.S. government, and supply chain risk management is a very important piece of the puzzle they're trying to solve. So really what they're looking for is the ability to provide ubiquitous coverage across a global basis on a shipment that is trackable anywhere it is in a given world, right? So it requires a solution that has a gateway device that is best in class in terms of battery capability. It requires multimodal capability, meaning that you're not relying on a transport carrier, a trucking company to tell you where the truck is or the trailers or the ocean cargo vessel. You really want to be tracking it at the shipment level. This is mostly for the investors. So we started the company back in 2016. I raised some seed financing. In 2017, we spent about a year and a half building the product. We started selling in 2018. We've had quite a bit of pipeline growth since then. We turned cash positive this year, and we are currently trying to grow our revenue. That's where we are right now, is scaling our revenue. Founding team, we're a San Francisco-based company. I'm here based in Silicon Valley. We have an operations center in Maryland. The senior executive team is very experienced. We have multiple years in machine-to-machine and cybersecurity. So any questions? I'll be up at the demo area on the second floor. Thank you.
Thanks, Neil. You can pass it right along to John. So we're about halfway through now, and I think you've noticed by now that we usually like to collect fun facts about our startups because entrepreneurs are human too. And we really like to get to know them and have fun. But we often find that they're really high achieving. All the facts are like, I'm a Forbes 30 under 30, I'm a NASA, whatever. And so John tells us that he ran a New York Marathon with only 1 week of training. And so John, welcome. Thanks for making us feel all that.
All right.
The stage is yours.
Thanks, Christy. Yeah, I was debating whether or not I should share that with a room full of strangers because it's not one of the smarter things I've done. I wouldn't recommend it. Anyway, I'm John. I'm one of the co-founders of ClickIt. And I appreciate your time as I tell you the next couple minutes about how we are fundamentally changing the way the communications take place in the most important part of the supply chain. Every day, several times a day, this happens in every distribution center, warehouse, factory, around the country and across the globe, actually. It's the daily huddle, and you're probably familiar with this. And if you've ever observed one, what you'll notice is that maybe it's 30 people standing around in a circle, and only about 5 of them ever raise their hands or speak up. And now, why is that a problem? Because engagement or communication equals engagement, and a lack of engagement leads to turnover. And turnover is expensive. It costs U.S. businesses about $130 billion annually. And the fact is that 75% of it has nothing to do with wages. Your inclination might be to say, well, just pay people more and they'll stick around. But according to Gallup, that's not so. So if you think about this environment, you have a manager who probably understands his people, but it's very subjective, and it has no real easy way of making that data objective and turning it actually into data. In other words, people often communicate with bias, and there's no way to aggregate it. So what we do is we provide a little bit of technology in these environments that allows us to connect the front line directly to decision makers. It's a very quick and simple interaction that takes less than 10 seconds for a worker to do. And what we end up with is a dashboard that decision makers can see very easily what's happening in their facility. This can be aggregated across an organization, regions, facilities, down to the shift level. Just to give you a little bit of an example of what this looks like, these are 2 sites. This is live data, and these are some of the elements of satisfaction and dissatisfaction at those sites. You might look at this and say, well, Minneapolis, there's a supervisor issue. They have a lot of responses there. But if you look at Dallas, it's a very similar profile. By the same token, you look at pride, recognition, coworkers. Those are similar type attributes. What really sticks out in Minneapolis is physical and mental health. And by the same token, in Dallas, opportunities for growth and development. So the key here is benchmarking. It's not about looking at a site in a vacuum. It's about being able to look at your sites in comparison to one another and in comparison to other sites in the region. We're in about a dozen sites across the country at the moment. As of next year, based on existing contracts, we'll be doubling that number and all over the country. And that's really important because the more data we have, the more insight we can provide. It also means that our customers like what they're seeing, and it also means that we're growing about 22% month on month the second half of this year. We work with some pretty big companies, including a couple Fortune 500s, and with an existing 6-figure ARR deal in the works, we're expecting to be break even by end of year. So what really sets us apart is that our methodology encourages action from managers, honesty from workers. It's fast and simple to roll out. We have a 3-phase methodology that actually leads to solutions. I won't get into it now, but I'm happy to tell you about it later. It's anonymous and voluntary, which leads to trust and authenticity from workers. And we see really high response rates, 100% over 7 to 10 days, and increasing over time. You never see this with an application. People actually using it more over time. It's because people like interacting and they trust it. So we have greater communication engagement than any other product. But don't just take my word for it. This is an email on the left from one of our customers who said that their retention went from 8% to 25% before and after ClickIt. This is the same customer, Glassdoor review, we see going from 3.8 to 4.4 in the time that we've been there. This is the team that has the passion to execute. Myself, Vivek, who's our CEO, we're all here today. And what exactly is the opportunity? Well, Microsoft wanted to put a PC on every desk. We want to put a kiosk in every distribution center. A bottom-up analysis of just our initial 100 supply chain targets equals a $300 million ARR. And after that, we'll tackle the remaining part of the market, including call centers, retail, QSR, and construction. Thanks so much. I look forward to connecting and telling you more about how we can measure, engage, and retain workers.
Thanks, John. Up next, we have Dan from Doddle. Welcome up.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dan from Doddle. I'm the CEO of North America. We're a 4-year-old business. We operate in the UK, the US, Australia, and most recently expanding into Japan. So Doddle help retailers and carriers create positive, lasting impressions with their customers. And lasting impressions typically means the last impression for us. It's the last touch point that a customer has with a brand or a retailer is the most important. It's the area that they dislike the most currently about online shopping. And luckily for a lot of people in this room, it's the area that we can influence as well. It's also an area that harbors the majority of cost in retail, specifically e-commerce. So what you're looking at here is an example of a typical high street fashion retailer or fashion retailer where they would see about 60 cents to the dollar in gross profit on the high street, yet 19 cents in e-commerce. So fulfillment and returns is harboring the majority of the cost there. The biggest problem is that what we see is that in 2018, the high street didn't grow. In fact, it shrunk a little bit. And e-commerce continues to grow, and it will do again this year. So fast forward some years, and we've got a problem on our hands with the profit in retail. So what we think is Doddle can help carriers by providing carriers with the solutions that the retailers need to solve this problem. So there are technologies out there that work directly with retailers, but ultimately, carriers should be the ones providing these solutions that the retailers need. And we have an example of that in Australia right now. So we're currently working with Australia Post, providing them with a solution that they in turn provide to all of their retailers in Australia. We provide them with a national network of fully managed pickup and drop-off locations. Those pickup and drop-off locations are convenient locations for customers: grocery stores, convenience stores, pharmacies, etc. We integrate at the checkout of e-commerce retailers so that we are within that customer journey, and the customer can make the choice at the point of purchase whether they want to receive a home delivery or, for whatever reason that they might choose, would want to collect that item from a convenient location nearby them. And we've digitalized returns. So we're providing now a solution to Australia Post for them to be able to provide to their retailers that helps provide full visibility for the retailer on their returns, from the point of the customer deciding that they want to make a return, to making the return, to the retailer receiving that item back at the DC, giving the retailer an opportunity to do something about the return before it's been made, to choose the speed in which they want to send that item back based on the condition and the priority of receiving the item, and just improving the customer experience. So the key benefits for pickup and drop-off is it reduces the costs for both the carrier and the retailer, and even the customer, and the rate of failed deliveries by consolidating volume on a B2B rather than a B2C, and guaranteeing first-time delivery. It captures incremental volume for Australia Post. They are the ones providing this solution. It's not Doddle. We're not the third-party technology providing the solution. Australia Post are providing the solution. So the only carrier that is fulfilling against these pick-up and drop-off points is Australia Post. And it removes all of the last-mile costs for Australia Post, which they can pass on to their retailers, and helps with things right down to environmental impact. E-commerce integration. So, as I said, we integrate at the e-commerce checkout for the carriers, retailers. So this massively increases the discoverability of pickup and drop-off. So I think a lot of people in this room are familiar with pickup and drop-off, but one of the challenges that you see within that is actually discoverability and the actual adoption rate. Doddle makes the choice of the customer at the point that they make their transaction. And that helps Australia Post become synonymous with those brands, the biggest retailers in the market. Australia Post will now be associated with those brands at the point where the customer makes their transaction. Digital returns, so digitalizing the whole returns journey for the customer. So there's now no need for pre-printed labels in boxes. So we're saving paper for a start, which for many retailers can certainly add up. So there's immediate cost benefit there, but it's a huge convenience for the customer, but provides a lot more visibility for the retailer. It enables that retailer then to triage the problem at the point of the customer deciding they want to make the return and deciding what they want to do with that return, whether they want to be able to exchange it and recover the revenue, or whether they simply just want to make sure that the label that's printed at that point, because it's not already a pre-printed label, is one that sends that item back to another location because it's faulty, or at a slower rate, or even if they want to a store location because they need the stock. And it provides visibility for that retailer at every single stage, so you understand what's been booked in, what's in transit, and what's been received, right down from a customer level, a volume, and a cost perspective, providing actionable data for the retailer. And finally, it captures returns volume for Australia Post. Australia Post will be the exclusive provider of this solution in the market. Every single parcel that is handled is going through Australia Post. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Dan. Up next, we have Sam from Freight Trust, originally from Chattanooga, Tennessee. I don't know why I feel like I have to say that in like a Tennessee accent, but now in San Francisco. Welcome.
Thank you. So my name is Sam Basha. I am the founder and CEO of Freight Trust. We are a blockchain smart contract platform that eliminates paper documents in the trade and shipping industry. Okay. So rapid change means disruption, obviously. From autonomous trucking to Industry 4.0, there is no solution like Freight Trust right now in the entire industry, because physical documents are unworkable, unavoidable, and underserved. There is a few competitors, but they don't do what we do. What we do is we actually eliminate all the red arrows in this diagram. So right now, for shipping, every document that is in red is actually a manual printed process. So you can think of this as sort of like a DocuSign for shipping documents and sort of like a Cisco for shipping trade networks. So we network different supply chain networks together and enable them to talk to each other through our blockchain network. So one of the use cases that we have is actually something for detention management. So when a truck is at a warehouse and the delivery or loading time is, let's say, 2 hours, and they stay for 5 hours, they are entitled to a detention payout. On average, that's $1,300 to $1,500 a year per truck, per carrier. And the reason why most carriers do not actually pay that out is because it is paper-based. The truck driver has to worry about not only sending their proof of delivery to get paid on the actual shipment, but also getting paid on a detention claims. So less than 30% of carriers even try to attempt to get this money from their shippers. And 1 out of 5 trucks per week is in detention. So what we help do is we will buy the detention claim from the carrier, 30 cents on the dollar, and then we'll keep the spread of 70 cents. So for example, one of our customers has 50 trucks. They save about $1,500 a year. That's $75,000. They get an extra $22,000 a year in their pocket that they would otherwise not have. This is an example of the shipping platform for on the carrier side. It's similar to a TMS, but we're not selling a TMS. We just have to have a basic interface in order to ensure that there's at least some level of communication that's standardized throughout the entire process. So it's actually built with also with a broker and freight forwarder in mind. So we're not looking to disintermediate brokers or freight forwarders from the entire trade process. So at least 23 minutes was saved per truck with the carrier that we were talking about earlier. 17% increase in earlier departure times. And that's the number one thing that carriers want to do, is to deliver on time. So if you're leaving on time, you're going to be delivering on time more. And also, we are the only paperless shipping document platform that supports paper. So hazardous materials still require paper documents for safety reasons. We also work with one of our customers is an ammunition company, and they require specific requirements for supplying for the Department of Defense. So we actually meet those requirements. And this is a comparison of other platforms. So we actually approach the solution from a legal perspective rather than just a purely technical perspective. So we are actually a trusted service provider pending in the state of California. We also offer we are also the only company that offers the detention factoring service. And this is our smart contract design. And you can get started today and come find me, and that's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Sam. Up next, we have Freddie from Automation Hero. Come on up.
Hey everyone, this is Freddie from Automation Hero. We have built a data and backend driven intelligent process automation platform for the enterprise, combining robotic process automation and native artificial intelligence. 2 questions for you all. Who has inefficient business processes? Hands up quickly. Yeah, 2 or 3, okay. And who are rather the technical folks versus the non-technical folks? Technical folks, quickly hands up. Okay, perfect. Also 3, great. So for you 3 people, this presentation is for you. If you're technical, you might have heard of a technology platform called Hadoop, which is really database technology for unstructured data formats, right? And our founder, the founder of Automation Hero, has developed this technology more than 20 years ago after going off to start a big data analytics company based on that called Datamere. He raised $140 million for that company here in Silicon Valley, and really from the big data aspect and really the business intelligence, a lot of questions always amongst his customers occurred that were around how do we put these data insights into actions to make our enterprise more efficient, right? And so really 2.5 years ago, we really took the next step and founded this new company, Automation Hero, to really combine artificial intelligence, which is nothing else than finding patterns, a large amount of data, right? And business automation, which is really then giving you the actionable insights and really helping you to actionize on the insights you got from the data. Automation Hero is now in the intelligent process automation field, which really separates from the pack of RPA and legacy RPA, as we call it, because you can imagine really RPA being a very just a static welding robot, right? It's here on the left, and they really all say they are AI enabled. Now, what does that mean? They really just put an AI sticker on it and work with third-party vendors to integrate AI technologies into their platform. We, on the other hand, on the intelligent process automation, you have native AI capabilities baked into your platform. McKinsey said last year at the Dreamforce conference here in San Francisco that right now, 35% of front-end or front office tasks are automatable. In the next 2 years, this is going to grow up this number to 85%. So if you're not dealing with AI right now and trying to integrate AI into your processes to make them smarter, more efficient, your competition will definitely do that already. Really, the use case categories that we have here And this is, we usually differentiate between 3 categories. On the one hand side, we automate repetitive tasks, right? This can be anything from data entry. We are very, very good in data capturing, from data extraction from PDFs, from all kinds of unstructured data, really, right? Because this is our back end, and really just automating it, writing it directly into your ERP systems, into your CRM systems, anything that you have in your legacy IT systems. We create documents automatically. We love to automate front offices, front office tasks. So really everything that's incoming emails, for example, we can run intent detection models on them. We route your emails. A specific use case that we have with some of the largest logistics suppliers right now globally is they have incoming quote requests for shipping packages. And right now, this takes them days and days to receive and to respond to those emails, which literally loses them money. Although they have these fancy tools where you can just, with a couple of, you fill out a template and you technically get an immediate response in regards to the price of your package. These tools don't work, and that's why they're automating it through our platform. Now, this is our platform on a high-level overview. At its core, we're really a fast data processing engine, and we focus on these 4 pillars. This is one-time data, so we really integrate into currently 50 different data systems, 50 different data systems, MySQL, NoSQL, MongoDB, Hadoop file-based systems, Cassandra, HBase, you name it. We integrate with existing systems, so we natively run Salesforce automations. We can integrate with your ServiceNow, with your Workday. In the bottom, we integrate with your processes. On what we are very proud of, what we specialize in, is we focus on your employees and we focus on people by running attended automations as well as unattended automations. We personify our automation experience with an AI assistant that we call Robin as part of our platform as well. This is our platform itself. In the middle here, you see how we, in a no-code environment, you point and click together your own automations. It's highly secure, HIPAA compliant, Dodd-Frank compliant, data lineage is given. We are elastically scalable. We can run on one server at night when nobody uses it. We can run up to 1,000 servers during the day when everyone is using it, run on-premise or on the cloud. We come with 50 pre-installed connectors to all these databases. As I mentioned, we have over 300 operators right now that you use to click together your functions. And we have an integrated AI model where you can point and click together your own AI models or upload existing models as well. Just a quick video, I hope it works now, to show you how easy and seamless the process is. You just create a connection. In this case, it's your email server, so you can look at incoming emails. You just define the source on what kind of data you want to pull in what format. And then the next step, you just set up your flow. You just hit create new flow. You just select the source you just created, right? Where in this case, the email mail server. And then you start just clicking together your automation. By hitting the plus button, you have the window popping up in the next step. And then you just select the operators that you want to use for your automation. And they are as simple as clicking together like a macro on your Excel, really, right? So really ifs and whens and more than or less than. This is really as simple as that. And that's really, then we have rule-based decision-making as well as AI-based decision-making. As part of our AI Studio, as I mentioned earlier, you upload your AI models, and you can just drop it as a function in this automation flow. As easy as that. You train it on the platform based on your own data, and you can train them yourself, or you can ask us, and we'll help you build customized AI models as well. I'm Freddie. I'm with Automation Hero. If you have questions, come see me at the demo booth. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much, Freddie. Up next, we have a drone company. So I'll welcome Coffee from Alroy Air.
Hey, how's everybody doing? Good, good. My name's Kofi, and I'm the head of strategy and BD for Elroy Air. At Elroy Air, one of the main pain points that's impacting a number of shippers all around the world is something that we call the Amazon effect. We're all familiar with it. It's this idea where anything that you want is accessible within that same day. Over the last 5 years, we estimate that this specific branch of the industry, expedited logistics, has actually grown over 100 times. But it doesn't just stop there. See, over 1 billion people are disconnected from reliable roadways all around the world. And depending on how the weather is going, over 600 million people end up being in a challenging situation with disaster relief. So what we built is an autonomous vertical takeoff and landing system that doesn't need airports, doesn't need electric charging stations, that can deliver 250 pounds of cargo over a 300-mile range without any human interaction. One of the exciting pieces of our technology is this delineation between the pod and the aircraft. Fundamentally, you can pack the pod ahead of time, as you can see here, and then the aircraft will use LiDAR to be able to find the aircraft, attach to it, and then go to the next spot. Currently, air cargo is challenging because of the multimodality that happens. There's an element of being able to only go where the airports allow you, but even after that, there is another step that you have to do. For us, because we are enabling vertical takeoff and landing autonomously, you're able to skip a number of steps and really break it down into 3. We're excited about the speed of our aircraft, which will be able to go 120 miles per hour, but we're also more excited about the environmental impact that it can have. See, it is 10 times more fuel efficient than the alternatives in aviation because of our hybrid electric system. And the operating costs end up being a fraction of what the industry is used to seeing. We've had wonderful traction and interest from all over the world. We also just signed a deal with the Special Forces Division of the Air Force and have a strategic investment from Embraer to help us with production. There are a number of great companies that are building technology that's going to positively impact logistics. But we believe that the sweet spot is actually this cross-section between payload and range. If you were to come to our office, which you're all welcome to do, this is what you would see. About 15 or 16 groups of people from MIT PhDs, Google X, Uber, Airbus, Boeing, all working together to try and build this new wave of technology. We have essentially been running our R&D and the respective project that we're working on less than about $10 million over the course of the last 2 to 3 years. A few weeks ago, we had an opportunity down at a naval base to actually have our aircraft fly, hover, stabilize, and then come back down without having a pilot in the loop. Simply had to press a button. The aircraft was able to think for itself, get to its altitude, stabilize, and then return back down. So right now, we're in the process of raising about $25 to $30 million, which is going to enable us to build a handful more of these aircraft, put them into domestic opportunities here in the US, but in a more exciting way, have an opportunity to really impact a lot of environments internationally that have challenging infrastructure. Whether it's island hopping, whether it's medical supplies delivered over a rural area in an expedited way, we believe that our technology is going to be a key modality in being able to connect the world in a way that hasn't been done before. So my email is kofi@elroyair.com if anybody is interested in getting in contact. When we think about logistics and the formal way that it's set up with ground infrastructure continuing to become more and more of a challenge, we look up to the sky and we realize that there isn't really that much going on up there. And so it's exciting to think about the power that we have to harness the sky in a way that connects communities that hasn't been done before. Thank you.
Thanks, Kofi. Pass it right along. Up next, we have Amir to share his insights on cybersecurity. Welcome up, Amir.
Hi, everyone. My name is Amir, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Silus. At Silus, we help rail companies to maintain safety and prevent service disruptions caused by cyber attacks. We don't want that trains that move tens of thousands of tons of goods between point A to point B to be stopped, or in the worst case, to be derailed. Over the last year, more and more technologies have been introduced to the rail industries in the signaling system and the onboard components. The networks became more and more complicated. The systems are based on wireless communication, such as PTC, which is a positive train control to control the speed of the trains. Preventive maintenance and remote monitoring systems came into the system, and the network became more and more connected. And this type of systems are more and more exposed to cyber attacks in the new area. Our solution to this new threat is based on main three elements. The first one is network visibility. We provide continuous monitoring to the signaling system and the onboard components, and we allow to the operator to see if someone is trying to hack his network and try to make the impact. Once we detect cyber attack on these safety critical networks, we raise an alert and give actionable insights to the operator how to effectively respond to this cyber attack. We also have a research team in our company that research these proprietary technologies and continuously looking for vulnerabilities in these technologies. Once we find new vulnerability, we update our system. The way we install our solution is by installing a server on premises in the operational control center or the security operational center, if the rail agency has that. And we capture data non-intrusively from the signaling system and the onboard components. We analyze the data based on deep packet inspection and algorithms that we develop based on rule-based algorithms and AI technology. So our company has the first-to-market cybersecurity solution. There is no other solution in the market. We founded the company in early 2017. We have multiple projects in Europe, in Australia, with national rail companies such as Deutsche Bahn and others. We partner with most of the important integrators, such as Bombardier, Alstom, and Thales. Our technology is based on patents that the most important one approved internationally, there's railway cybersecurity systems. And our company consists of 25 people with vast experience in cybersecurity. We are after round A, we raised about $17 million, and we are currently looking for a pilot in the US with main class 1 companies, rail companies. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Amir. Up next, we have Charu from Oculogics, who recently relocated to Bentonville, Arkansas. So welcome up.
Good morning, everybody. It's good to see you all. My name is Charu, and I'm the founder of Oculogics. We are building heads-up display tech for buy online, pickup in store operations. Before I get into it, though, I want to introduce our world-class team. Our advisors include experts like the inventor of Google Glass, the founder of Vocalect, acquired for $190 million, the senior director of online grocery at Walmart, and previous SVPs of logistics and global processes at Walmart. Our core team has over a decade of software engineering expertise. In addition, we've done product design for F50s like Home Depot, Lowe's, and Walmart. And we've been recognized internationally by organizations like Microsoft, the USPTO, and ACM. And through our work, we've met people like Kim. Kim works at a grocery store. Her job is to take items that have been ordered online and pick them out in store. She's a personal grocery shopper. 70% of US consumers are expected to regularly purchase consumer packaged goods online. This includes the growing buy online, pickup in store operation that happens. We've proven out our technology in e-commerce warehouses and food service warehouses where we've shown up to 40% faster and 80% more accurate picking. We're bringing this technology to retail stores. Currently, personal grocery shoppers use bulky handheld scanners where they have to walk around aisles for 8 to 10 hours a day searching for items. Our technology uses heads-up displays. So you just put on the headset, it shows you where to go and what to pick. Our technology is designed to be assistive, not intrusive. So you can see the entire environment ahead of you. It's a little screen in the top right corner. And we've tested it with all kinds of different technologies that exist in warehouses today and stores. So goods to person, pick to voice, pick to light. We see faster speeds than even the gold standard pick to light, and it's the most preferred method overall. For one of our customers, we can save $129,000 annually per store, which is 175% IRR over 5 years. This is mainly driven by shifting consumer behavior. People are buying groceries online, and that didn't happen 10 years ago. So the people we're focused on are mass merchants and supermarkets and warehouse clubs. So companies like Kroger, Aldi, Target, Sam's, and Walmart, because they have dedicated W-2s focused on this problem. The key insight, though, is that retail stores are becoming micro-distribution centers for true omni-channel fulfillment. But the challenge is that traditional distribution center technology doesn't work in stores because there's people walking around. So for instance, automated storage and retrieval systems require completely new buildings. Goods-to-person systems require dedicated space in a store that doesn't exist. And pick-to-voice systems mean you can't even interact with the people that are asking you for help. The way we work is we build custom interfaces on top of our pre-built pick modules. So we work with customers to figure out what their current process is, understand what their goals are in terms of ROI, timelines, and metrics, and then sequence our pick modules and build a custom interface on top. So we're not a full platform, we're something specific for you and your problem. Our customers are the world's best e-commerce warehouses, Fortune 500 CPG brands, and multinational brick-and-mortar retailers. So companies like Newell Brands, Walmart, and Google. We're really thankful to Plug and Play for letting us be a part of the program. We've had a really great time as a part of it, and we're sad that it's wrapping up. But we're glad that we got to meet all of you, so hope to see you guys soon. Thank you.
Thanks, Charu. Doesn't end here. We'll keep seeing you. Okay. Up next, we have Mark from Detch. Come on up.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mark, and I'm the CEO at Detch. We're building an intelligent voice assistant for industry. So you can think of it like a Siri or an Alexa, but for industrial business processes. So organizations that are well-run have a bit of a curse, and this is that the more diligent they are at collecting information and processing that information, the less time they get to spend on hands-on value-add work. Now, not all hope is lost. There was a recent study by McKinsey that came out a couple of years ago, and they found that across industries, so manufacturing, mining, supply chain, that 22% of all hours worked was considered recoverable time spent on business processes. And this means that this 22% of these hours worked could be removed by technology. And this is where voice comes in. At Detch, we use verbal conversations to help with these repetitive, compulsory, and critical business processes. So these might be things like work orders or task cards, tech logs, or maintenance logs. Or in safety and quality, they might be things like incident reports, SOPs, or 5 why procedures, or audits. but in reality, there's hundreds of these processes being carried out by everyone, every day, all over a plant or a factory or site. So, yeah, so how does it work? Well, let's say you're doing an inspection at a plant somewhere, and you come across a problem with a conveyor. All you need to do is say, hey, Datch, create a work order for the line 6 conveyor. There's a vibration issue that's affecting production. Assign the work order to Dave for next Tuesday. And then Datch will take that work order, break it down and categorize it, and then put it into your ERP system. And then you can get back to doing your inspection. Or you might be having an issue with one of your spot welders, and it's costing you $200 a minute in lost output. Just say, hey, Datch, why is there an oil leak at the line 3 spot welder? And Datch might show you that, say, 5 out of the last 7 times it needed a new gasket. And then you can make a decision as quickly as it takes to ask you a question. So we recently carried out a case study with one of our customers. They already had an existing digital process in place, but by using Datch as the voice layer, we're able to reduce that time by 75%. And just to put that into perspective, this was equivalent to adding an extra 5 people for that shift of 50. And that's just with this one process. We're also finding that we're able to increase the amount of information that's captured, just due to the nature of voice. And in a world where data is king, information is critical for making decisions, voice is able to help you capture almost twice as much information in a quarter of the time. So generally, when we get started, we sit down with a company and we work out what processes are most important to them, and then we map those processes onto Datch using our conversational framework. And then we tie that back into their existing ERP system using an integration. The entire founding team are from industry, and we know what it's like to be on the floor where the stakes are high, where information is key, and where productivity is everything. And there's nothing we love more than spending time with the people that are using the product, because at the end of the day, we're there to make their lives easier and to make the companies they work for more effective. So again, I'm Mark, we're Datch, we're Voice for Industry. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, Mark. Okay, second to last, we have Deborah from OneClick. Please welcome Deborah.
Hi, everyone. It's my pleasure to speak to a room full of supply chain experts here. Today, I'm here to introduce to you an alternative way to adopt AI-powered predictive analysis. At OneClick.ai, we build technology around deep learning. As we all know, deep learning enables us to use a very rich source of unstructured data, and it also enables a substantially higher predictive accuracy. With this accuracy increase, this can directly impact revenue and also the cost savings. And when implemented properly, this can make a huge difference in the business. In supply chain area, this can really help in various areas, but mainly in logistic planning and transportations. What we are mainly working on now is in the demand forecasting, smart inventory, and in the transportation arm is in the prediction of the arrival time and also the predictive maintenance if you have an in-house freight. Now for business, if you try to adopt the AI-powered predictive analysis, the usual way really involves a big data scientist team, either internal or external, and you will launch an AI project ranging from 3 to 6 months' time. In recent years, there's also a couple of automated machine learning solutions out there. Now, OneClick AI, we are the first automated deep learning engine. By automates the majority of the deep learning building process, we hand to you a flexible software solution. Now, to achieve the same goal, you will just need a few weeks' time, and you really have a flexibility to not keep a data scientist team or have few data science team, or if you have a huge data science team already, you can use us as something to run through a routine automated predictive analysis tasks. Now, the differentiation points of our product really is in these 4 areas. We provide a higher predictive accuracy. Usually, what we see, what we can do for our customers on average will be 10%, which will make a huge difference. And we use a very rich source of unstructured data in the predictive model. And the software itself, once delivered, it's largely self-serving. Any business analyst can use it at ease, and it's highly customizable for any future business change. So this is an example of the unstructured data we use. Not only the structured and unstructured data we collect from our client, One-Click AI, we also have a data hub that we have a generalized data such as general economic data, demographic data. So in supply chain, these are the 4 applications as I just mentioned. In demand forecasting, we use a lot more data to increase the accuracy. And in smart inventory, we help our client to optimize the safety stock. On the transportation side, we can help to predict the delivery date with a way better prediction accuracy. And if you have in-house freight, we can enable to have the predictive maintenance in-house. So we will take a lot of time series, real-time data streams from IoT sensors. Now let's talk about what we have achieved for our current paid clients. One-Click AI, we have helped a global top 3 beverage manufacturer to increase the demand forecasting accuracy by 13 percentile. And a global networking device manufacturer to reduce their safety stock by 3 percentile. We are also currently working with a transportation team of a global retail brand name to to improve their ETA predictions right now. And we also work with a top automatic maker. We actually enabled the predictive maintenance capacity for them. We are a team based in Seattle, and we are 2.5 years old now. Our founders include former Microsoft AI team leaders, data scientists, and investment bankers. And we have a group of supply chain consultants to help us. Our investors, these are the early investors, include a head of Microsoft Research Asia, and also a large ERP system who is going to come on board as our strategic investor. And currently, we have 8 enterprise clients. We're here today to look for a POC opportunity, really to talk to you and to learn from your insights in supply chain. And hopefully, together, we can make a difference, use the technology. We are also interested in talking to investors. We're closing a round for pre-A. And my name is Deborah. You can find me in Umbrella, or you can also see me in demo table. I look forward to talk to you. Thank you.
Thanks, Deborah. Okay, last but not least, we have Professor Kazruni from SUITX to talk about exoskeletons. So please welcome him to the stage.
Thank you so much for invitation here. My name is Hami Kazruni. I'm a professor at UC Berkeley, and every now and then I get out with the help of alumni and past students. We start some entrepreneurial work. And then after I get sober, I go back to teach. I'm sober now. So SUITX makes 4 types of exoskeletons. These are devices you wear. They're not Iron Man. They do 2 things. They reduce the risk of injuries. They add productivity to the devices. We have 4 products. The one on the left, industrial products, which is probably of your interest. The one after that is medical devices that are we just received FDA approval for patients who are basically victims of spinal cord injuries and stroke patients, and they have limited mobilities. Our focus is on the left side. And of course, we have two other class of devices coming up next year. One is recreational, which means non-FDA devices that augment you to walk more, perhaps, climb, and other things. And the other one is more of a post-disaster or military, which are all funded by various government projects. Going back to the industrial, which of interest today, these devices, as I mentioned, reduced injuries. And to go back, to get a little story of our company, we were founded in 2013. All our products are manufactured basically in China. In fact, I'm very happy to tell you that Wistron, which is a manufacturer of Lenovo computer, are making our products right now, currently. And we're about 30 people. Half of them have PhDs from Berkeley, obviously. The one on the right-hand side, you see all the products on industrial. Forget about the one on the left, which is really unrelated to this matter today. We're making 3 devices. Each one of them is about $5,000. Extremely practical. These are not technologies. These are products. The one on the left is called shoulder support, or we call them a device that allows you to hold your arm for a long time or repeatedly. And we have sold many of those to automobile industries so workers can work under the car. The one in the middle is back support that allows you to bend and pick up things, palletizing, depalletizing. Basically, it reduces the forces on your back. And the third one is leg support that allows you to squat frequently or for a long time. And all of these devices, they basically reduce the stress forces at the joints, number one, and that is the reason they reduce the risk of injuries. And more importantly, it increases the time that you get to a level of fatigue, and that's a representation. That's a representation of a productivity. That means one of the examples we had is if I work with backaches and do palletizing from a conveyor belt, if I get tired within 1 hour of a self-selected speed moving, with this device, I would be able to go 1 hour and 24 minutes average before I get to the same level of fatigue. We call that productivity. That means the worker or the person would be less tired and can work more. I hope no OSHA guys are here to hear that, because they probably think we're going to load the workers to work more for you, but that's really not the case. Always people ask me, what is the productivity? It's about 40% more. And what is the injury is about 60% reduction of the forces. And these are all proven at different laboratories at UCSF and Berkeley. Where are they being used? Obviously, you can use them in automobile industries, construction sites, baggage handling, airports, variety of places. The thesis is coming from the Department of Labor report that majority of injuries happen on your back, on your shoulder, and your knees. And you can see we are targeting them. Here's a back support, very simple system, very effective, and it reduces the forces at L5, S1 location by about 60%. And here are the locations of some of our customers. You can see on the left side is basically, in the middle, for example, is here Narita Airport. This is Sumitomo Shipbuilding Facilities. This is Taisei construction site, and various places that we work with them directly and to design our devices. The leg X you can see here, it allows this gentleman, for example, to frequently squat, and you can, and for a long time, I can squat with this machine indefinitely. And you can see what it does, it reduces the forces at knee joint by about 50%. Again, these are all some of the applications of our devices around the globe. And shoulder X similarly reduces the forces at shoulder complex by about 50%, and this shows some of the application in construction sites and various places. For this community here, I think I found back X probably the most useful, and leg X for basically warehousing, delivery services, FedEx, and many other places that you move around boxes. We have about 21 patents on this, and we have 55 pending applications. These are things that might be of interest to you. Our sales have gone up about $800,000 per quarter. And many places we have sold. And these are some of our customers glancing through it. And this is our medical device. We're quite excited again. We're hoping to push this technology for people who have limited mobility. This is our team, a lot of young people, except myself. The reason why this is a good business, the red one, it shows that's a high value market. Is about, at minimum, I have analyzed 2 billion, or at least 4, something in that range. And of course, it improves the better quality of life for the workers. And that is really the thesis for our company. We want to create a better quality of life for workers, for people with mobility disorders, and people who basically fell through a crack, and they're not doing as much as they should do. I mean, that's the whole concept of Iron Man we bring to people who actually need them. Why do we need SUDEX? SUDEX is a customer-based R&D. And in addition to that, we have a laboratory at Berkeley that feeds a lot of technology to this company in terms of licensing, of course. My name is Kazeroni. If you have any questions, we're about an hour from here. In case you're interested, I can take you out there to try these devices. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That wraps up all of our startup pitches. Before I pass the mic on to Haniel, who will be presenting our Corporate Innovation Awards, so the corporate partner that has been the most engaged with us this quarter, I just want to remind everyone to vote for your favorite startup. Our votes are looking a little slim right now, and we really want to get your input. So I'll give you a few minutes to go online, cast your vote, let us know which one was your favorite, which one you're the most impressed with, and we'll get that together. So here we go, Haniel.
Okay, all right. Well, good morning. Well, almost there. Fortunately, I am sober, and I am not the last person between you and lunch. So I'll go ahead and get started, and we'll start with the Corporate Innovation Awards. So my name's Haniel Flores. I'm on the supply chain program here. Not in Silicon Valley anymore. I'm actually based out of Bentonville. They flew me out here just because I love Silicon Valley so much, and I love our supply chain program and dealing with our corporate partners. And so today, this moment right now, these corporate innovation awards, it's really one of the fun things that we do on the supply chain program, because we essentially as a team get together and we try to figure out, which of our partners has really been trying to push the needle with each batch, who's been really interested in working with our startups to try to help the industry as a whole, try to help their corporation as a whole, and try to make something happen with the startups that are participating. And so for the first award, for these Corporate Innovation Awards, I want to call up one of our partners. They've been with us since 2018. It's going to be Logifruit. Logifruit, if you can come up and join me up on stage. I'll give a round of applause for Logifruit here. Now, for the Logifruit team, so they're going to be coming up here. They've flown all the way here from Spain, all the way here to California, just to show the dedication that all of our corporate partners really have for this program, and to show the dedication they want to participate in the innovation process with our startups. So I want to give a round of applause as I hand over this award over here.
Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. And if you want to share a couple words.
Well, thanks so much for this award. That's really valuable for us to have this award from you guys. We are collaborating a couple of years with you, trying to engage with the startups, and we have to say that the value that you provide to us, the access to really insightful and useful deal flow, that's great for us.
Well, thank you very much for this award. We are proud to say that we think that innovation is really changing corporations, and we really try to work with the startups that can have an impact in what we do, and try to redesign the way that logistics are changing the world. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Now, I'm lucky enough on the supply chain program to work with about 20 of our partners. That a lot of you are in the crowd today. And our next award, Jeff is going to probably call me out because I probably say this to everyone's one of my favorite partners here in the supply chain program. So I'd like to actually invite Sachin from the United States Postal Service up to join me here. Big round of applause. Oh, he's giving me the look. There you go, Sachin. Congrats.
So we've been partners for about 2 years now, and it took us a while to hit our stride. The first year, we didn't really engage much. We were quite internally focused, getting the program, figuring out what we're going to do with this. So last year, though, we've had a lot more traction, both with the startups and internally with some of the work we're doing. But we still think we're just getting started. There's lots more to come. So thank you.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. Thanks, Sachin. Thanks, guys. All right, with that, we have given out those 2 corporate awards. I'll have Chrissy join us here for the People's Choice.
Thanks so much for voting. I guess we got some more votes in. And the crowd has voted for Boxologic. So Sagar, come on up.
Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. I hope you thank to me. I hope the planet will thank to us by introducing and improving the package efficiency and reducing the trucks from the industry. Cool. Thank you very much.
Okay, so exciting news. I think we added a few new partners for our program, and this is always exciting for us. The ecosystem grows. I'll introduce Mike up again, who will be presenting our new partners that will be joining our supply chain program.
Thank you, Christy. And we're almost at lunch, but last thing is, can we go to the slide with the new partners? We're very excited to keep growing the supply chain program, and I want to invite up kind of 4 partners that are joining us today. So Wallenius Wilhelmsen, we'd love to invite you guys up. Rupesh and Simon and everyone. C.H. Robinson, would love to have you guys up here as well. And we also have Georgia Pacific that joined us. They were in our new materials program before and actually just joined the supply chain program. And then there's one more that I'm not thinking of that just joined us as well. What's that? C.H. Rob. Oh, Schneider Electric, sorry. My bad. Yeah, we might have to. Okay, so it's really exciting to see the growth of the program, and one thing we want to do is just kind of highlight all the partners, give you guys a chance to share your goals of joining us, why you guys joined Plug and Play, and kind of your vision. So maybe I'll pass it down the line, and everyone can say kind of 1 or 2 minutes about their company and why they're working with us.
Hi, I'm from Wallenius Wilhelmsen. I know it's a tongue twister. Just a short description. We are a logistics and supply chain company for transporting cars and heavy equipment around the world. We do more than 7.5 million vehicles a year on ocean and land, with most of the major OEMs being our customers. Why we are with Plug and Play? We have had a history of more than 156 years innovating a lot in the physical world, be it the first RoRo, the ocean vessels, or on ports and terminals. I think at this stage, we are at a good stage where we can innovate a lot using new technology and business models. And that's where Plug and Play comes in play, because we are in the process of putting together a global ecosystem of accelerators, startups, ventures. And so with the help of Plug and Play, we will try to innovate more in with the startups in accelerating our digital innovation using technology and new business models. I'll not take much time because we are short of time. So yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. And now we'll do C.H. Robinson.
Thanks, Mike. I'm Eric Maxwell with C.H. Robinson. We're a global third-party logistics company. We handle over 18 million shipments a year around the globe. First off, thanks to Plug and Play, the whole team, and to Mike especially. You've been wonderful introducing us to this great platform and ecosystem. We're excited, I would say, for a couple of reasons. One, to work with a number of the great startups, help us solve problems in the industry, really for us to help bring better outcomes to our clients, to our capacity providers, as well as our employees. And then the second part is really to collaborate with the other anchor partners or partners within supply chain and logistics. Some who are our trade partners with us today, clients as well. It gives us a different venue to collaborate with. So thank you, everyone.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, and next we'll do Georgia Pacific.
Hi, so Grant Culbertson with Georgia Pacific. We've been with the Plug and Play family now for about 3 years, or excuse me, 2 years, 2.5 years. And you know, we're a forest products manufacturer. We make product. We also move a lot of products. So joining the supply chain platform is part of our growth strategy, and we're real excited to get started and get into some deeper collaboration with the other partners in the startup. So thank you for having us.
So I'm Brian Tessier. I'm the Vice President of Supply Chain Innovation at Schneider Electric, the biggest company you don't know, but probably will know based on our interactions here today. We're 189 years old, and we are the leader in the digital transformation of industrial automation as well as energy management. I run a central practice within Schneider Electric Supply Chain, which is dedicated to innovation. So what we do is we scout, we bring in very quickly, we test over a 30 to 45-day window emerging technologies, and then I scale it to my supply chain. So super excited to be here, and my colleague Nathan Brega, who's also part of my function, like to talk a little bit about what we're going to get, or what we perceive we're going to pull out of this relationship.
Thank you. So my name is Nathan Braga. I'm the Innovation Manager for Schneider Electric and Global Supply Chain. So in Schneider Electric, we have about 200 plus facilities and 100 plus DCs. We are a very large corporation, and we're moving forward to new economies. I think our revenue in 2018 was over 20% in new economies. So we're really focused on spreading innovation across the entire globe, and we're working with Plug and Play to do that. So we look forward to all the opportunities that we're going to see today. So thank you.
Great, thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you. Awesome, thank you very much. So that concludes today's show. So the startups are all on the second floor. There's lunch on the second floor. So appreciate everyone's support. And lastly, I'd like to invite all of our Plug and Play team up to the stage so we can get a picture, and also with our corporate partners that's just joined us. So please, team, come up to the stage, and then everyone can head out afterwards for lunch.